everybody, and welcome to Powerful Stuff. This week is another solo episode brought to you by yours truly, Meredith. I'm joining you on the other side of 33, which I've been told is your Jesus year, your resurrection year, the year that all of our past wisdoms, past life experiences kind of come together and are rebirthed into something new. Although arguably that could be every birthday, right? That could be every full moon if we're really getting technical with it. And that could be each moment in our life, choosing for everything that's happened before us to be alchemized into what is to come, into the new seeds that are to be planted. And so this episode is about what you can do on your birthday to reflect, acknowledge, make use of the things from the last year, to celebrate yourself from the last year, and to get clear and plan on what you want to vision this next year. So save this podcast recording if it's not your birthday, but you want to come back to this and kind of use it as a ritual, a self-reflection tool for yourself. And also, I'd like to say that even if it is not your birthday, this is a great moment in the spring to reflect on what seeds you're ready to plant. And I was actually talking to many people about this week. It's been my hot take of the week, that the spring is actually like the new year, if you know what I mean. Like our calendar new year is January 1st. But it's still the depths of winter, right? Everyone's still hibernating. So we're like, new year, new me, January 1st. And everyone is like, fuck, like, how do I maintain these resolutions in January? Where I like to think, because it's the end of the astrological new year, Pisces being the last sign in the, zodiac horoscope, whether you choose to believe those things or not. I thought that was really interesting because I was looking into this because I am a Pisces, admittedly. But I was looking into this and I was like, you know what? I kind of love that because I feel like January, February, early March are still kind of wintry. We're defrosting. We're realizing like what has, died down that we're ready to shed. And what new seeds are we ready to plant for the spring? Everyone's kind of coming out of that hibernation. They're de-thawing. They're ready to put that spring energy forward. They're ready to spring forward, if you will. And so when I talk about birthday stuff this year, I'm also kind of talking about this new season of rebirth for us at large as a society and as in your own individual reflection. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take our 3 breaths instead. And we'll put this celebration ahead of us. Okay, I was trying to rhyme, guys, but wasn't my best. A little rusty this Sunday afternoon as I'm recording it. Okay, let's close our eyes, taking a deep breath in, breathing in all of your acknowledgement of yourself for all these wonderful things, the good, the bad, the ugly that you've done this last year, pulling them up to the crown of your head, feeling the wisdom in all of it. And then exhaling that out, feeling it wash down your knees, your thighs, your toes into the earth, becoming soil. Breathing in the second time, feeling this new wave of energy, this new spaciousness, that releasing whatever you have released is created for the new. And then exhaling that spaciousness, that sense of possibility down your fingers, down your heart, once again, down your toes. And then third and deepest breath in, breathing in this new seed energy, this new thing that you're ready to plant perfectly in harmony with the past and the present in this moment. And exhaling that out, coming into presence, celebrating how far you've already come, feeling possibility for what you have yet to do, and feeling divinely guided in this present moment as you open your eyes and come back into this room. Okay, y'all. So all of that is to say, I'll give you a little anecdote about my own birthday, the musings that I've had coming up during my birthday, of which I think there's like two or three good ones. And then we'll end with a birthday meditation that you can listen to when your birthday is happening, and a few journaling questions. And again, like I said, these can be for your actual birthday. These can be a meditation that you send a friend on their birthday. And this can also be like, full moon or new moon or, new change of seasons and just like checking in with yourself. It's basically like, let's pause, let's acknowledge how far we've already gone. Let's give gratitude for how it's prepared us perfectly for this moment. And let's decide on how we want to harness that energy next. Sounds good, right? I thought so too. Okay. So for my 33rd birthday, I have such a funny relationship with birthdays. Let me just start out by saying that. I'm going to have a little sip of my LaCroix, tomato. So yeah, I've had such a funny relationship with birthdays. When I was younger, I used to feel extremely uncomfortable around birthdays. I did not like the attention. And I think it was because if I had to psychoanalyze little Meredith, part of me didn't feel enough, as we all go through those little feelings when we're younger. And because I was kind of an odd one out in elementary school and middle school, birthdays were kind of like a sad and weird time where, other kids weren't necessarily coming to my party, or I was seeing other kids have huge birthday parties and feeling bummed out that mine wasn't like that, even though my parents always went out of their way to make me feel special on my birthday, which I'm so grateful for. But I think if I had to pinpoint it, and we all have our own relationship with birthdays, right? Whether we had good ones or bad ones or in between, but I think that is what made me feel uncomfortable about my birthdays when I was little. And then, as I did more self-development work in my 20s, I was like, I actually kind of want to celebrate myself. I want to use this time as a time of celebration of all that I've learned this last year and of what I'm ready to step into these next years. And so I started to do that in my 20s. The more and more enough I felt, coincidentally, the more and more I started to enjoy and embrace my birthdays as a time to celebrate myself. The less and less uncomfortable I felt with this center of attention being on me. Guys, I'm just watching myself in the video as I record this and fixing my little hair part. Thanks for being with me for the whole journey. And so anyways, on my 30th birthday, I started to really lean into this, and I had a Yosemite birthday extravaganza, as in Yosemite. And I invited 30 of my closest friends to Yosemite and did an opening ceremonies where friends from different friend groups got to know each other. I did yoga and breath work, and we did a hike on Saturday, and then we did a space cowboy theme night Saturday night. And it was such a fun birthday. And that was also the year that I started putting out a creative project on my birthday, because it was a perfect time where everyone's wishing you happy birthday to be thank you, check out the new song I just released. So I released my song 30 on that birthday because I was turning 30. And it was I really wanted to commemorate my entry into my 30s, because I felt like my 20s was a time of self-exploration and self-reflection, and 30s was a time of coming home, really finding acceptance in myself. And so, yeah, I did that festival, that Yosemite festival, where I really leaned into what does Meredith want? And then sharing that with my friends and sharing, expanding my friends' worlds and introducing them to each other. And some people became proudly really, really good friends from that one birthday weekend, which I absolutely love. It was so special to see people did really want to show up for me. They did really want to have a Meredith Baker experience. And so, yeah, I started doing those two things. And then 31st birthday, I did a magic onesie party called Never Believe It's Not So. And that birthday was really cool. And I think because it wasn't a full weekend, a learning from that birthday was trying to pack too much into one birthday experience. So I tried to I had an opening connection exercise, but then I also had everybody act out a game, which is really fun. But after that, I had a trivia moment and a sound bath. So it was kind of not enough unstructured time for everyone. And then I found, because it was so scheduled, I was kind of worried about the next thing and the timing and if people were still engaged. And ultimately, right, our birthday is for us to celebrate ourselves and to enjoy being with our friends. And so that was the first birthday that I started to realize okay, I love that I'm celebrating myself, and I love that my friends are celebrating with me, but it makes it easier for me to enjoy it when there is a little bit more spaciousness and I leave a little bit more time for myself to release control and thus for others to enjoy it. Because ultimately, on your birthday, people are there to like make you happy. So if you're stressed or you're worried about how everyone's enjoying it, like they're not going to enjoy it as much because they're there to see you enjoy it. And so that was the first start of that lesson, which I'm actually going to circle back to because it was a big theme of this year as well. I'm just kind of giving you guys my personal anecdotes, and then I will break it down for you of how we can actually really like celebrate and reflect on our birthday. Yeah. And then last year did a Temecula camping trip for my birthday as well. Opening ceremonies Friday night, Saturday talent show. Spencer proposed to me that birthday weekend. Sunday we had a little closing ceremony, and that was a nice spacious birthday. And then this birthday, 33, I really felt like this year, and I think a good balance that I've started to strike is like having solo time on my actual birthday and then celebrating with friends after. Because I feel like we end up getting emotional on our birthdays, or I don't know about you guys, but I get emotional on my birthdays. I get reflective. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I'm not sure why I'm crying. So I'm like, let me just have some time with Meredith, kind of like, let me prioritize Meredith. Again, that analogy, as if we're like, a single parent to our inner child. Like our inner child wants some just us time too, where we can sit, we can be with them, we can acknowledge all the feels. And so I was like, let me just have some time with inner little Meredith. And Spencer and I went to a little ranch in Anza Borrego, which is like inland of San Diego, for a few days for my actual birthday, and did a little plant medicine ceremony there. And then I did a celebration with friends in nature in Topanga, thanks to an amazingly kind friend who lent me his beautiful property in Topanga for this last weekend. And so the theme that I got this past birthday week is I feel like birthdays are an initiation in a good way, if we let them be, around expectation, right? We want our birthdays to go well, because it's like a time to acknowledge ourselves. And so for me, this last birthday, I think one of my huge lessons was expectation of allowing for things to not go the way I expected. And for when expectation is creeping up, to use it as a moment of curiosity of like, where am I not releasing control? Where could I loosen my grip of control? Because when I have expectation of like, I want everything to go so well for inner Meredith, then it's like, she doesn't enjoy it and I don't enjoy it, because I'm just like waiting for the other shoe to drop or for something not to go the way I planned. And it was such a funny thing because the day before my birthday, when I was at this ranch, I had a session with my own coach, and I was talking to him about this because I'm like, I feel myself doing this. I feel myself expecting or wanting certain things to be a certain way, like hoping Spencer does a certain thing for me, hoping certain people reshare my song that I'm releasing on my birthday. And if they don't do it, I'm going to be disappointed. And if, I don't wake up to like a card from Spencer, I kind of feel this internal, like I'm going to be disappointed. And I could already feel that expectation sneaking up on me. And so I kind of told myself, like, I surrender to my expectation tomorrow. It might be uncomfortable. It might be painful. My thinking mind or my monkey mind might be wishing for things to go a certain way. And I'm just going to kind of allow myself to be in that emotion, for it to come up, for me to grieve it and view maybe my birthday as like one big expectation grand finale ceremony, because I had dealt with expectation a lot this year in my wedding, like releasing expectation of how things go, who shows up, in my bachelorette party, like a few moments this year where, all eyes are on you and you want things to go exactly a certain way. And so I feel like it was like, maybe I'm getting this vibe of expectation on my birthday because it's been a year of an initiation of surrendering control. So sure enough, even though I talked to my coach about it, or not even though, but in addition to talking to my coach about it, on my birthday, I woke up and I was feeling really emotional. I was feeling, really sensitive. And I was trying to sit in the gratitude of being just with Spencer on this ranch, like really grateful that we were having this experience. But I was also finding myself super emotional and sad and like crying at little things and like really grateful for the friends who did reach out or who did reshare my new song, which meant the world. And if you reshared my song, Alchemy, thank you so much. It was not lost on me. But yeah, I found myself feeling emotional, finding myself kind of doing the opposite of what I usually tell my friends and my clients, which is like, focus on what you want more of, whatever you want more of, whatever you're grateful for, that's what you end up getting more of. I found myself kind of like in that sneaky expectation way, noticing who didn't share my song, noticing who didn't reach out. And I was like, it was kind of like being patient with myself, like an inner, like being patient with a puppy, like it's okay. This is the expectation ceremony. Let's return back to the present. This is part of the birthday process. This is why we're here at this ranch, is to be able to process these feelings with no shame. So let it out. Let's have that cry. And that's kind of what I did on my actual birthday. And then we had, that plant medicine ceremony at the end of my birthday. And the takeaway that I had there was kind of a continuation from earlier that day of continuing to surrender. And when we have expectation, it's like we can't really sink into the present moment. We're just scratching the surface of it because we're constantly looking at like, what's going to happen next? When is the next shoe going to drop? So that was my takeaway from that. And then I really took last week after my actual birthday day to not just receive acknowledgement from others, because it can be nice when we receive it from others, right? But it really hits when we do it ourselves. So I wrote myself a birthday card and acknowledged myself for all that I've done this last year, the lessons that I've learned, the things that I've created, the things that I said I was going to do and I did them. Even things like more nuanced, like I used to kind of last year at some point in time be comparing myself to certain people. And I noticed that I'm doing that less and less, like little things that I've worked on in my own viewpoint of the world and how I see the world and how I react, and celebrated those things. And so it was really sinking into acknowledgement after that solo birthday reflection. And then from that space, I was able to then kind of do a masterminding. So I had a few close friends that I met with the week after I had kind of acknowledged myself, thought a lot about expectation, and kind of shared my vision for the year, and had a meeting of minds of hearing their opinions of where I could supercharge what my weak spots are and what my strengths are and what my zone of genius is, and how I can step into my zone of genius even more for myself this year and even more to serve other people this year. And that was really powerful. Kind of hearing all of them chime in together and all of us being in a room together. And now I'm kind of going through and distilling that, right? So I did acknowledgement as step 1, and then blue skies with a few trusted people as step 2 of like, what do I want to create this year? And then step 3 is going to be the implementation, which I'm going to do with my husband, Spencer, of like, what are the tactical next steps that I can do in this year to actually plant these seeds from this place of acknowledgement, from these blue skies. So if you're doing that for yourself, it's like starting with acknowledgement, anything you want to release. Also, I forgot to add. Then blue skies, like what is that high level vision? What do the people around you who you trust the most think of you? You can ask them to chime in for this, whether it's a mastermind dinner, or you can text a few friends or call them or send them an email, and then your tactical visioning. And I do want to circle back to that mastermind thing, because what I was going to also say for that is, what I did on my 30th birthday is I sent 30 people an email, and I said, you're getting this email because you're someone I love and trust. And I would deeply appreciate your insight onto 2 to 3 things that I'm doing that make me get in my own way. And if I removed them, I would be stronger for it. And I know you're saying this to me from a place of love. And it was like one of those scary emails where you like send it and you're like, ah! But honestly, I got the best responses back, and people were so happy to share that feedback and so honored. And also a lot of people ended up also like couching that feedback and like, and here's all the ways I think you're amazing. But it was really great. It was really eye-opening, even if some of those things were things I already knew, to kind of, sometimes we think we can like keep this little like secret of like the little sneaky self-sabotagey things. But then when someone else reflects it back to us, we're like, okay, it's time to make a change. So yeah, all of that's to say for that step 2, for that visioning, getting that feedback or that insight from a few trusted confidants in your life is really powerful. And then going into the tactical visioning and being like, what's one tiny shift I can make this week? Maybe something I can release from the last year and something that I can step into that I'm already doing to already act as if for this next phase of life. So those are the 3 things. And then I do want to close out with my last little birthday anecdote before we get into the meditation and the journaling question is like, then Spencer and I had a joint birthday again this year at that property in Topanga that I mentioned. And I felt like this whole birthday thing, as I had mentioned before, was like a ceremony around releasing expectation because it has been such a little thing that I've been working on for so many years when it comes to events, especially events or experiences that are a little bit more, I'm planning it or it's focused on me. And yeah, I kind of set the intention before Topanga. I was kind of feeling a little stressed last week and I'm like, this is supposed to be fun. It's like my birthday and we're getting this really amazing offer from a friend to host it at their space. And so many other friends are like chiming in to help or that they'll show up. But I set an intention before, knowing that this whole last week was a ceremony around expectation. I set an intention of like, okay, whoever shows up is exactly who it's meant to be. It's exactly who's meant to be there. And I also do not want anyone there who doesn't want to be there, who is coming out of obligation to me, who's just going to sit there and kind of be like, okay, I've been here an hour, so I can leave. Like, I want people who want to be there, even if it means some people don't want to be there. And this kind of goes back to setting the expectation, which I am proud of, that I did for my wedding too, where we're like, this is a festival wedding in the desert. It's sober, gluten-free, vegan. And if it's not your cup of tea, we love you. Don't worry about showing up. We'll catch you another time. So that's kind of what I did with this Topanga wedding. But I was still noticing I was feeling a little stressed. And we tried to leave it like spacious, like one little opening thing, space to breathe, like one little opening thing where my friend and I played a few songs and I led a little meditation. Then we were going to leave it spacious, have some people painting rocks, like little inspirational words on rocks, then have an evening sound bath at like 10:30 p.m. by my friend Lincoln. And then some people would leave and some people would stay the night. And so I felt good about this. I was like, okay, this is pretty spacious. I feel good about it. And then Spencer and I get to Topanga early. We were going to have like an opening moment at 7. So we get there, or we're getting ready to leave the house to get there early. And we plug in the address in Topanga, which is usually 25 minutes away from the Pacific Coast Highway into Topanga Canyon. And it's saying it's almost 2 hours. And I'm like, something has to be wrong. Like, why is this saying it's 2 hours? And then I got a few texts from a few other friends being like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to be there late. Traffic is insane. And it turns out the one road into Topanga, the closest road from Venice, was closed on the one day for our birthday to get there. And, we had it in Topanga because we're like, oh, it'll be close to our friends. It'll be great. And so I was just like, okay, expectation. I see you. This is another test. We've already rented this space. Even if 3 people show up and it's just like Spencer and me and 2 other friends frolicking around Topanga because no one else wanted to make the extra 2-hour drive, that is A-okay. We didn't like break the bank on this party. We got some nice things, but we can reuse them for other stuff. And I also kind of had a feeling of who wouldn't show up at Topanga. I knew which friends were going to cancel. I intuitively felt it. And so I was like, I am already going to imagine that these people are not coming. That's their journey and they're doing what's best for them. And so that way I'm not going to be disappointed when they say they're not coming. So I'm just going to assume they're not coming. There's a few people I know who are going to be there no matter what. And let me use this moment to remind inner Meredith, let us focus on who is and what is. And I'm so glad I did that moment. I'm so proud of myself because in the past I might have latched on to who wasn't coming for a little bit longer. But then when those people inevitably did text me and say they weren't coming, I was just like, just as I suspected, I'm in flow. I'm in harmony with expectation. This is just as I suspected. And the funny, amazing thing that happened because of that prep that I did for myself is that, the people who did end up coming, who drove 2 hours to be there, it gave me an even deeper appreciation and gratitude for those people. I felt so deeply touched that people put in, I told them this at the opening moment of our birthday. I'm like, when you saw on Google Maps, you put it in and you thought, oh, it's going to be a 25-minute drive to Topanga, and you saw the 2 hours and you doubled down and you committed and you showed up. I am so fucking grateful that you're here. It means the world to me. Like, this is not unnoticed. And so it was a cool thing of like something that could have been really frustrating, right? Like everyone being in the car for 2 hours or me being afraid of all these people dropping off. So many people ended up still coming. Like, in fact, most people did. And it made me that much more appreciative for everyone showing up for our birthday. And I really felt that gratitude throughout the night. And so that was a cool moment of like, I really do feel like I've reached the end of the expectations ceremony for my birthday this year, of like allowing it to be what it is and finding an even deeper thread of gratitude or presence in it. And it ended up being a funny part of my little stand-up bit that I did at the start of my birthday. And so I feel like overall the birthday, was great, of like receiving love and reflection from others. And I think while I'm certainly proud of myself and think I've gotten a lot better than I was in the past, one other thing that I wanted to share with you guys that my husband said that I found quite interesting at the end of the birthday, and come to think of it, he did also say this to me at our wedding too, is like, at your birthday party or at your wedding or at your bachelorette or at your engagement, you are the energetic set point for others. So instead of worrying, is this person having fun? Are they feeling like this is weird? If you are having fun and you are enjoying it, whether shit's hitting the fan and the schedule's not going according to plan, if you, the person who everyone is there for, is having fun, it's going to set the whole energy for everyone around you. And so that is the amazing thing that I felt most of last night. There were a few moments at the beginning as I was sinking in of like, oh, the sound bath is happening. I need to set up this room. And I told Spencer about that. I'm like, I felt a little not as present at the beginning. And he's like, because it was a joint birthday, he's like, well, it's, my view on my birthday is like, this is my party. Who do I want to speak to? How do I want to have the most fun? Because if people see me having fun, they're going to have fun. And I'm just going to enjoy it more. And I loved him saying that because I feel like I was almost there, and I was definitely there the latter half of the night. But yeah, that energy of like, this is my time. So like, I'm going to enjoy it. And if I'm enjoying it, I trust that those who are meant to be around me will be enjoying it too at that point in time. So all of that's to say, great lesson in expectation. And great lesson in expectation. I feel like that was a big lesson from this year. And this year, as I mentioned, I released a song on my birthday, and that song is called Alchemy. And I wrote Alchemy, as you loyal listeners might remember from my podcast with my bestie, Sarah DeWarren. I wrote it with Sarah DeWarren, and we both were cheated on by the same guy. And alchemy, the noun definition is like turning something into like a precious metal, right? Using heat and fire to turn something mundane into something extraordinary. And so alchemy is about turning pain into power. And part of the lyrics are like, I believe before I see, I believe in alchemy. And it's like, I believe before I see, like, what am I choosing to believe? And how am I choosing my story? What am I choosing to focus on? So I thought that was a really cool song to release on my birthday, in the sense of like taking all the lessons from the last year, alchemizing them, and then turning them into magic for this year to come. And I guess that goes in line with someone telling me that 33 is my Jesus year, because Jesus, was crucified and then resurrected in his 33rd year. And whether you're 33 or 28 or 45, it's like a cool thing to think about each year, right? Of like, how have all the last years cumulatively led you to this moment? And how are they inviting you deeper into your power, into who you already are, into who you're meant to become? And before we do the meditation, guys, I could talk to you all day. Thank you for listening. Birthday vibes. Hopefully this has been informative for you too. The last thing I'll say before the meditation is if you are holding space for a friend's birthday, rather than just showing up, if you're like a good friend of theirs, what's really special, because sometimes people don't think to do this for themselves, or they feel like, oh, it'll be conceited of me if I ask for this, is like inviting everyone to share their favorite quality about that birthday person. Being like, hey, I would just love to acknowledge so-and-so for a second. For your, next year around the sun, I would love for us to all just popcorn share or go in a circle and share our favorite memory with you, or like the quality we are inspired by in you, or our wish or hope for you for the next year. And just having that moment of having people reflect back to you, like what they love in you, is so powerful. And some people don't ask for it themselves. I've learned to, because I know I really appreciate that. And like little Meredith thanks me for it. But I did it for Spencer Saturday morning after the night ended in Topanga, because Friday night was kind of my birthday and Saturday morning was Spencer's birthday morning. So I was like inviting everyone to share, what their favorite moment with Spencer is. And so, I just wanted to say that. Okay. So let's get in a comfortable seat. Let's do the meditation, celebration of the birthday. Okay. Okay, you guys. So closing your eyes, taking a deep breath in, and open mouth exhale. Another deep breath in. And exhale, sighing it out. And third and deepest breath in. And exhale, release. And as your gaze is inward and your breath is nice and slow, imagining you're in your birthday best, feeling the most beautiful or handsome, self-assured, empowered, confident from the inside out you've ever felt. Breathing into that, what that would feel like in this moment, letting it start from your root, trickling up through your hips, up through your personal power and your navel, trickling up through your heart, connecting you deeply to yourself and others, up your throat, opening your throat, your ability to communicate, up your third eye, connecting you to your deepest intuition, and then out the crown of your head. Allowing this visual to lift your body, lifting your spine, sliding your shoulders back, bringing a smile to your lips, really embodying this birthday power. And as you're embodying it, mind and body and spirit, imagining that you are in this beautiful psychedelic dome in the sky with flashing, vibrant colors, a beautiful glass floor that lights up with clouds underneath your feet every time you take a step. And you come to this beautiful screen on the wall, a beautiful magical screen, like a 4D screen. And you see a clicker next to it, and you press the clicker button, and it flashes back to you from last year. Noticing at you 1 full year ago, looking at them with so much love and compassion for what they didn't know, for what they hadn't experienced. Just feeling so much pride start to well up in your chest as you start to look at them almost like in these different flashes on the screen, moving through different scenes from this last year, from that point to present day. Just taking a few moments to notice the different scenes, which scenes are showing up on your screen. The moments of joy from this last year. The moments of pain or sadness or grief. Allowing yourself to re-feel them all in this moment as you watch that scene play out. Noticing the wisdom that you've gained throughout the year in the little nuanced ways. the little ways you've learned to trust yourself more. And noticing that the things that you pushed through this year or that you created that may have been small or big, but you did them. You said you were going to do them and you did them. Maybe it's something you put out into the world or a new skill that you've learned or things that you started making time for yourself. Just feeling that pride in all of these things that you've done for yourself this last year show up. And as you see these instances move closer and closer to where you are in present day, starting to see that energy in yourself in these visions shift, becoming more centered, even more infused with vitality, even more infused with this self-assuredness. And then as it reaches closer and closer to present day, looking at a current reflection of yourself in the mirror and telling yourself what you're proud of from this last year, just acknowledging your present self face to face for all the things that you've done this year and how you've showed up for yourself. Thanking yourself, and then noticing the smile on your present day self's face. And then asking your present self, what are you ready to shed to make space for what you're ready to call in? What are you ready to lovingly shed or release, whether it's a belief, a relationship, a job, a habit? What are you ready to release to make space for this new empowered version of you? Trusting whatever your self says. And then almost like you're pulling it out of the screen, this thing, this belief, this habit that you're ready to shed, bringing it to your hands, keeping your eyes closed, but bringing it to your hands and saying, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your wisdom, even if it was painful or triggering. Thank you for your growth. And then rubbing your hands together, transforming it into something new, transforming it into fertile soil, and then placing this heat down toward the earth with your palms. Imagine it trickling into the soil beneath your feet, strengthening the soil. As you lovingly thank it and release it, and then taking a breath to feel the spaciousness of this. And exhaling it out. And then with all of the things that you're proud of from this last year, feeling your heart, putting your hands on your heart and feeling those things beat into your hands, bringing power and acknowledgement and trust of self into your hand. And then bringing it into your hands and also rubbing this, amplifying it even further, magnifying all of these good things that you're already doing for yourself. And then putting that heat into the earth and combining it with the soil of what you're releasing, both alchemizing, turning the soil into even more palpable power and change. And as you place it into the soil, you notice a little seed in your hand, something new that you're ready to plant, coming straight from your heart. And when I say something new, it's not something completely foreign. It's something that's always been there that is just awakening for the first time. It's that first inner whisper. You might not know what it is yet, but just tapping into how that feels, that possibility, this new seed coming from these old things, completely new, but nourished from the past. Placing that into the earth, putting your hands on that, feeling it start to root down, deepening your connection to yourself as you start to allow this space and safety within yourself for this new year, even though it's unfamiliar, even though you don't know what's around the bend, feeling that safety within yourself. And as you look back up at this beautiful, magical, psychedelic mirror, seeing a vision of yourself a few months into this new year, noticing your energy and demeanor in this vision, noticing something that you're doing in this vision where you feel even more embodied and centered. Trusting whatever that energy feels like. And then asking that future vision of you, how has everything from the past perfectly prepared you for this new seed that you're planting for this year? How has it all been perfect to prepare and equip you for what you're about to do next? Trusting whatever your future self says, noticing their energy as they say it. Thanking them, and then asking them for the perfect next step with this feeling of acknowledgement for yourself, this excitement for the year ahead. What is your perfect next step that you can take? Thanking them, bringing both hands to your heart once more, breathing in this knowledge, breathing in the acknowledgement from the last year, breathing in the excitement for the year to come. Taking a deep breath in, exhale, releasing the vision, returning to your physical body, feeling it inside of as you bring and breathe up the energy from your feet all the way up your hips, up out the crown of your head. And exhale, waterfall it back down through your whole body once more. Slowly opening your eyes, coming back into this space. And then starting to just sit with that. Sit with that acknowledgement. And to close out our journaling questions, our points of reflection, number 1, writing yourself a birthday card from this last year. What are you acknowledging about yourself? What was hard from last year that you grew from? How did you grow from it? And how are you releasing it? And how is everything that's happened last year, the things that you're proud of, the things that were difficult, the things that you might have learned from, how has everything prepared you perfectly for this moment, for what you're about to do next? And what is one tiny shift that you can make this week that starts to step into that feeling of I'm already doing it. I'm already showing up as that version of me. And then thanking yourself for all that you've already done to get you to this point. And then I'm going to give you guys 2 bonus questions. So number 1 would be writing yourself a birthday card from the future. So imagine that it's your birthday this time next year. What do you want to celebrate from this year? What things do you want to have had done? How do you want to feel this time next year? So I would, if you really wanted to, I was going to say Will Smith's song, Get Jiggy With It. If you really wanted to get deep with it, you could do a birthday card to your current self and one from your future self for next year. And just start to see what little inklings, what surprises come out from what you're ready to step into. And then the second bonus question. Whoa, oh my gosh, I got balloons on this recording. I'm recording this on my computer video and I did this 2 sign and somehow balloons appeared. It's like AI knew. I was talking about birthdays. But the second bonus question is reflecting on and sending messages to 2 to 3 people who really positively impacted you this year. I think we supercharge our intentions when we acknowledge others who have helped us on our path. So think of 2 to 3 people who have really, maybe they gave you some of their time this year. Maybe they were mentors, maybe they're friends who helped you through something. Whoever it might be, sending 2 or 3 people a message and saying like, I was reflecting on my last year, my birthday, and I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for what you've done to help me get here. And then maybe, okay, I'll do a bonus part 2 of that. Maybe some of the people who were triggering for you this year, maybe writing them a letter, and one that you don't have to give them necessarily, but writing them a letter of thanking them of what you learned from them. Maybe you learned to honor your value. Maybe you learned to not take things personally, and just like really sitting in that gratitude for your birthday. So TLDR, guys, acknowledge what you've done last year, the good, the bad, and the ugly. How has it helped you grow? What are you releasing? But not from a place of like, fuck this, I've outgrown this, but from a place of gratitude. And here's how I'm stepping into that next version of myself. Then what little seed are you planting for this next year? And how is that inviting you even deeper into yourself? And how is that bringing you even more joy, thus even more joy or impact for those around you? Okay, guys, happy birthday, because every day we are so blessed to be alive, to be doing things like listening to podcasts like these, recording podcasts like these. Let me know how this episode helps you, and continue to let me know what you would like me to talk about. I am here to serve. And thank you for being on this wonderful birthday journey with me, guys. And I will see you next week for more powerful stuff. Woo! Thank you for listening to the Powerful Stuff podcast. We're your hosts, Meredith Baker
and Eileen Leguiu. We hope that you learned some powerful stuff that you can take away and implement into your own life.
And if you do, we would love it if you rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast, Powerful Stuff. And if something deeply resonates with you and you share it on social media, tag us. We would love to hear from you. And we will also see you next week for some more powerful stuff.